Hi everyone. This video is a little bit different. It's going to be a new subject I'm going to talk about, which is going to be PragerU Debunked. In this video, in this category, really, I'm going to be just going over some of the videos that PragerU has done. If I get all of them, then hey, I get all of them. But there's so many, I doubt I get all of them. And some of them just bleed into each other. So I really don't need to talk about them all. But anyway, for this video, I'm going to be talking about their video, Is Denmark Socialist? Well, of course, you might be wondering, why would you bring it up? Why would they bring it up? Well, normally in debates, conservatives and, basically Republicans and everything like that normally try to use their version of socialism when they debate of capitalism versus socialism. They always like to go to Venezuela because, of course, they like to say, "Hey, this is what socialism gets you." And of course, the left, or should I say, the progressives normally come back and say, "Really? How about Denmark?" So in this video, PragerU tries to explain that Denmark is capitalist, not socialist. Even though they have a lot of government intervention and high taxes, they want you to negate that idea and not even look at it and forget about it and say, "Hey, it's capitalist." Because, like the guy said during the opening, if it was socialist, it had to be Venezuela to begin off with, which whatever the heck that means. But hey, I digress. Let me get into it. So, it first opens up with, I don't even care what the guy's name is really, but they first open up by trying to explain that Venezuela is basically the only form of socialism out there, and that if it's not Venezuela, it's capitalism. They do this by trying to explain that a lot of things that's happening in Denmark are things that normally wouldn't happen with socialism. Like you could open up businesses there easier because there's not a lot of red tape. They try to go with the fact that there's no minimum wage there, and things like that. Well, again, as my specialty is, I just destroy this argument with common sense. First and foremost, Venezuela isn't the only form of socialism out there. You can have something that we like to call democratic socialism. Democratic socialism is when you have democratic processes in a socialist state. Very different between that and Venezuela, which is a dictatorship. You have to understand your forms of government in order to understand that socialism can have its many ways. People may not know it already, but the United States is starting to trend towards the democratic socialism. Just think about it. How many of us pay when we call 911? Yes, I know you call an ambulance, you pay for it. That's just plain stupidity, but hey. But you don't pay for it when you call police or fire department. How many of us call up a organization to pave the road? Hey, guess what? That's not capitalism, that's socialism. In a capitalist society, you will have to call up someone to pave the road. And you pay that individual money to pave the road. So one individual, whoever that person is, will have to call up an organization, shop around, find the cheapest, road making organization out there, and pay that individual to fix up the road. How many of us went to public school? Right there, that's socialism at its best. In a capitalist society, you will have to go and pay for school. They don't even come close to answering that part. They don't come close to even thinking about things like that. If you know the difference between your types of government, you even know that the United States has a lot of socialism in it. First and foremost, I held off on it on purpose by not saying it. Social Security is literally in the name. It's a socialist idea to secure your behind because you're too old to work. So basically, a bunch of young people work their entire lives, and portion of their paycheck is taken out to pay you. While you did the same for someone else when you were younger. You worked hard and you slaved to make some money. The government takes a portion out and pays some old person. That's basically what Social Security is. That's not a effect of capitalism. Because capitalism will say you either work or you don't eat. You don't live. You don't do anything. You're too old to work, then die. That's what capitalism will tell you. But of course, socialism has to come in and save today, doesn't it? So back on the subject. Denmark is a socialist state. It has a lot of things like high taxes, which capitalist states hate. A lot of government intervention, which capitalist countries hate. So, yes, I know a lot of conservatives will talk about, hey, but there's no minimum wage, so how are you going to explain that? Because there's a bunch of unions. They don't tell you that, do they? There's a bunch of unions, and Denmark builds up and protects unions over there. They strengthen unions. So that way, organizations can't have the freelance ability just to do whatever the hell they want to you. Right now here in the United States, if you work for let's say, a bank can fire you because you have a tattoo. A bank can fire you because you came and your hair wasn't perfect. You should have got a new hairstyle. We don't like dreadlocks. Get out of here, you're fired. A bank can do that. In Denmark, you have a union there. So you can say, you don't like my hair? I'm getting it done. I brushed it and it's all good. Customers aren't complaining about it. You can have that. And guess what? The union would come to your defense and say, hey, he brushed his hair. He, got decent clothes on. It's not like he came out and rolled out of the bed and came to work. He's doing pretty good. Do you have any other reasons? What about connection to his work? Does he have poor work habits? Do he come to work late? Does he not help out customers? They will ask things like that. And if the bank can produce that type of evidence and say, hey, no, we just didn't like his hair, the union will tell you, get back to work, you're perfectly fine. And probably help you sue the bank for monetary damages. That can happen over there in Denmark, but not here, because they have unions to protect them. And that's something that capitalist states and capitalist countries don't have and wouldn't have. Instead of saying that it has to be Venezuelan, because it's only version of socialism that conservatives think of is Venezuela, think of something different, like democratic socialism. Hey, if you don't know what it is, I know a good person you can ask. Just talk to Bernie Sanders. He'll tell you exactly what democratic socialism is. And that fits Denmark more than anything else. It's a democratic socialism state. It has everything you would need that you would get from socialism, the benefits, but lack the negative downsides that come with it. The normal dictatorships. It has more of a democratic form where individuals can vote and select things and do things, open up businesses and things like that. It has the benefits that normally come with socialism, but none of the downsides. And the government actually is there to help people out. That's why you can open up businesses over there. That's why there's not that much red tape, because you don't need it. Because the things that's there already helps them out. And the unions are there to stop organizations from getting over. So you won't need a lot of red tape like you have here, because we don't have unions here. The only one that can keep these organizations in check is the government. That's not the same in Denmark. So that's the reason why it is 100% socialist state. What else would it be? You can't say it's capitalist because it has higher taxes and government is interfering with a lot of things. It has free healthcare, schools, and a strong union base, and workers are being paid a higher wage because of the unions. Those things you will never see in the capitalist country. So, how'd you like it? Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And hopefully you see a lot more videos like this.